You've probably heard me praise Index Universal Life Insurance as an incredible wealth building tool, and it absolutely can be. But today, I'm flipping the script. I'm going to get real clear about who should not buy an IUL. Because guess what? It's not for everyone. And making the wrong choice could cost you a whole lot more than it would help you. And so if you're ready to find out if you are one of those people who should not get an IUL, then come on, let's dive in. But real quick before we do, if you are new to me or to the channel, my name is Katrice, and I am a licensed health and life insurance broker, paralegal, and your wealth architect. And I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to grow, protect, and secure their finances and build a financial legacy that they can be proud of. Okay? So let's get into it. So now the first thing I want to talk about is discipline and why discipline in saving matters. Okay? You got to be disciplined when it comes to saving and building wealth. Okay, and with an IUL, it's not like a regular savings account or a quick fix investment. It's a long-term financial strategy designed for consistent savers. And so if you're somebody who struggles to set money aside regularly, or if you are constantly dipping into your savings for impulse purchases, then an IUL could be more of a burden than a benefit to you. And so in order for you to get the full benefits of an IUL, you have got to commit to regularly funding it for at least 5 to 7 years minimum. Okay? Ideally longer, but at the minimum 5 to 7 years, and I would err more towards the 7 years. Okay, and so without that discipline, you are likely to sabotage your financial goals. Okay, all right, so now let's get into who should actually avoid even looking at an IUL. Okay, so if you don't know who Doug Andrews is, okay, and you can check out his YouTube channel, 3-Dimensional Wealth. But Doug Andrews is an expert on all things Index Universal Life, okay? And so in his bestseller, Last Chance Millionaire, he highlights 5 types of people: strivers, arrivers, thrivers, survivors, and divers. Okay, and so today I want to focus on 2 of these categories, because these 2 categories, if you fall in these 2 categories, then an IUL really is not for you. Okay, now you can get out of these categories, and then look into an IUL. But if you are currently in these 2 categories, then you don't even need to be looking at it, Index Universal Life. Okay, and so these 2 categories are the strivers and what he calls the financial jellyfish. Okay, and so strivers are people who live paycheck to paycheck, and they are always playing financial catch up. They typically have a lot of debt and very little savings discipline. Okay, and so if you are a striver, and no shame, okay, but if you are, then your first priority needs to be building foundational financial habits, and not locking into a long-term plan like an IUL. Okay, because the reality of it is that if you are living paycheck to paycheck, you don't really even have the money to even invest, to even put into an IUL. Okay, if we're being honest, right? And so you first want to work on getting your foundational financial habits in order, and then once you get that in order, then you should look into an IUL. Now, if you need help with, getting your financial habits, building that financial foundation, then you can grab my money toolkit. I have a money toolkit, and in that toolkit I have a financial literacy guide. I also have it's a chart that helps you. It's a spreadsheet, but it helps you to get organized with your money, and also a savings goal planner to help you to become more disciplined in your saving. And so if you would like to get a copy, to get your hands on my toolkit, then just comment toolkit in the comments and I'll get you the link. Okay. All right, and so then the next category is the financial jellyfish. Okay, and so financial jellyfishes, on the other hand, these are people who crave immediate gratification. And so these are people who they can afford to fund an index universal life, but they want that immediate gratification. They want the jet skis and the luxury cars, the big house. These are the people who are, sometimes they kind of want to keep up with the Joneses. They want the latest and greatest, the next best thing. They just got to have it. Okay, when the new iPhone come out, even though it's no different from the previous iPhone that just came out, they just got to go get the new iPhone, right? And they'll wait in line for this iPhone that's pretty much like the one they already have. They want it all, and they want it all now. Okay, and so if that is you, an IUL won't deliver the instant satisfaction that you seek, and so you'll end up frustrated, and then you'll be like, it's a scam and it doesn't work, and you were sold this policy and da 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 da. And it's like, index universal life, it is a long-term strategy. It's not instant, and so it won't be for you. Okay, you may need to go and invest in the stock market, okay, or crypto or something like that, okay, or forex. All right, so now another major pitfall is misunderstanding how an index universal life needs to be structured and funded. Okay, a lot of times when people are getting a index universal life and they just go, see somebody. I mean, any insurance agent can write you a index universal life policy. They can set it up for you, right? But if it is not set up properly, and if you have looked at any of my videos where I talk about index universal life, I heavily stress that you need to work with somebody that know what the hell they're doing, because I personally have seen and also heard horror stories of people who they get an index universal life with somebody who really don't know what they're doing, and it's poorly designed and it underperforms massively, and then they're pissed. Very, very pissed. An improperly structured index universal life might yield returns as low as 2 or 3%, barely even breaking over decades. Okay, not only that, the cost of insurance is eating up what's being funded in the policy, and so it's not growing as well. And so that's why when you are sitting down with an advisor, it's really, really important to let them know exactly what your financial goals are so that they can structure it properly. Okay, do you want it? Are you getting it mainly for the death benefit, or are you wanting it for the living benefit? Because depending upon your answer is how it's going to be structured. And if you're wanting it for the living benefit and it's structured more for a death benefit, it's going to underperform, and it's not going to give you the rate of return that you are thinking that you should be getting, what you are really wanting. And so your goals are not going to be met properly. Okay? And so if you're not committed to working closely with a knowledgeable financial advisor, somebody who knows what they're doing, who conducts regular reviews and rebalances your policy, an index universal life is not for you. Okay? It is just not for you. And if you've looked at any of my videos, not just my index universal life, but any of my videos where I'm talking about health insurance or whether I'm talking about just, regular life insurance, I always stress how every single year you need to be doing policy reviews, whether it's for your health insurance, because yes, health insurance, it goes up every year. Premium rates go up every single year. There are always changes to the policy, and so the policy that you had this year, it is not going to be the same setup with the same co-pays and deductibles and co-insurance amounts. It's not going to be the same next year. And so that is the whole purpose of doing a policy review. And it is the same when it comes to your life insurance. You need to do regular reviews because, for life changes, you could get married, you could get divorced. You need to make sure that your beneficiaries are updated. You may need to add a policy. Like, it's just so many things, so many factors, and that's why if you are not somebody who is going to be on top of your finances and making sure that everything is still working the way you set it up to work, don't even look at getting an index universal life policy. Don't even look at it, because it's not a set it and forget it. Okay, it's not that type. If you want something that you can just set and forget, you get some term insurance, but even with term insurance, you still need to do a policy review. I say every 2 to 3 years with term insurance, because you could have done had a baby, you could have done got divorced or married, you could have done bought a house, and now you need to get more insurance, to cover, that expense. And so you still need to do a policy review, okay, no matter what. Okay. All right. And so another mistake that people make with IULs, okay, is they will approach it as a short-term investment. Okay. And again, IULs policies are not drive-through savings accounts. Okay. And I know they are kind of marketed it when you look online, and people are talking about index universal life and to be your own banker. Yes, you can, if you set it up, if it's set up properly and you allow it to grow. Yeah, you can essentially be your own banker, but that's not going to happen in 2 to 3 years. That's not how the policy is designed to work. Okay, if your goals are short term, like you're saving for a wedding or a vacation or immediate purchases, index universal life is not for you. Okay. Short-term goals are best met with simple savings accounts, money markets, or CDs. Okay, using an IUL for these purposes is like trying to sprint in a marathon. It just does not work. Okay, it doesn't work. And so this is a long-term strategy. Okay, so if you are not ready to let your money sit and grow, if you are not disciplined enough to let your money sit and grow, just don't waste your time or the advisor that you are speaking with about an IUL. Don't waste nobody's time. Okay. All right. So how do you know when you are ready for an index universal life? Okay. Ask yourself these 3 questions, okay? Can you consistently set aside a fixed amount each month? Are you prepared to leave that money alone to compound tax-free for a minimum of 5 years, more so towards 7 years, okay? And do you have a trusted financial advisor who specializes in properly structuring these policies, okay? Now, if you do not have one, or if you can answer yes to these, then you are ready to harness the power of an Index Universal Life effectively, and you can set up, you can book a consultation with me, and we can, look at your goals and start that process, okay? But if you cannot answer yes to all 3 of those, especially the first 2, then you're not ready for an Index Universal Life, okay? All right, so here's the bottom line. An Index Universal Life policy can genuinely be a dream financial solution, offering tax-free growth, incredible flexibility, and powerful returns, but only if you are disciplined, patient, and properly informed, okay? And so if you're not there yet, that is okay, okay? Start by building the foundational financial habits first. But once you get, those habits in place, and then you're ready to explore whether or not an IUL fits your goals, then you can book a wealth strategy session consultation with me, okay? Now, I do have more videos on Index Universal Life, so if you want to check those out, you definitely can. And you can book a consultation with me if you have more personalized questions about Index Universal Life, okay? All right, and so if you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. My goal is to always provide practical, actionable financial advice to help you to take control of your finances and your future. And so if you would like to book a wealth strategy consultation with me to discuss your retirement, your insurance, or your estate planning needs, then you can do so using the link in the description of this video. Now, if this video, if you found it helpful, if you got some value from it, then give it a thumbs up and share it with your business bestie or water cooler homegirl who could also use this information. And if you like the content that I provide on this channel, then subscribe and hit the bell notifications so that you will be notified when I upload new content to the channel, okay? Now, if you want for more financial guidance outside of the content that I provide on this channel, I invite you to grab my money toolkit, and you can just comment toolkit and I will reply with the link. And also let me know in the comments, are you ready for a Index Universal Life? Are you a financial jellyfish? Are you a striver, or are you ready and disciplined for an Index Universal Life? No judgment here, but if you're ready, let's make it happen, all right? And so that's what I have for you. And remember, the way to secure your financial future is to protect it now, because no one is coming to save you tomorrow, all right? Have a good one.